Yes, welcome to the show, guys. And just as you join us there, you can see that the top corner of the screen, or at least I hope it is when this thing comes out, Engin Terzi there, little touch of the old COVID-19. As we head into show number 5, and the dry coffee's coming along nicely, Engin.
Yep.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
What is nice, though, mate, is this time, where we left last time, you were frozen. I think you were frozen in sort of...
I was frozen because you were only talking with John. We were just listening. I just didn't want to be unnice like that when I eating all the time.
Yeah. Devin Larratt, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what happens when you want to be great at this game, Engin. You got to get massive. You got to eat.
Yeah. Massive is this is enough, or you want a little bit bigger than this one?
You got to admit that's quite impressive for an older guy. Come on, it's more impressive than his suntan. The man's come on in a vest. Look at that, look.
Yeah, you have to get introduced to Micah Yellow.
Yeah, actually, he could give you some tips.
3 months with Micah Yellow, Engin is like...
different level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Calendar material.
The game would be in the ascendancy, Engin. If you hung out with Micah Yellow for a while, you could teach him about top rolling. He could teach you about tanning. It's a beautiful combination.
Yeah, I heard about him, yeah.
And, last but not least, let's introduce Mr. John Brzenk. We're on a bit of a time scale today because John's got to leave in about an hour and a half's time. So we're going to try and bang a few shows out, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to In the Presence of Greatness with Terzi, Larratt, and Brzenk, and my fine fat self, Neil Pickup. And you know what? We were waiting for topics to come up last week. We were waiting for you guys to give us a bit of information, send something out to us if you had anything burning. The only question that I got that came through to me was, does Devin Larratt really believe that nobody under 200 pounds is worth conversation?
Well, I mean, there's some pretty good guys under 200 pounds. But I'll tell you, in all honesty, when it comes to prizing of tournaments, we did something really funny at my last event, and I would love to see it carry on a larger scale. So really small level, okay? So we had 3 weight categories. We had the 165-pound division, we had a 200-pound division, and we had an open division. The 165-pound division got $165. 200-pound division got $200. And the open weight division got paid whatever you weighed on that scale. So, yeah. But, I do think that I was shocked, actually, when they did top 8 this year. Now, I'm happy for John that he's going to get the same amount of money as the big dudes. But in my opinion, I feel like the open weight guy should get more money than the 200-pounder.
I think your idea is great. I think it should just be in reverse, the opposite. I mean, the lighter you are, the more money you get. If you win, if you place. I mean, that gives you
place. If you place.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I guess I was thinking just like an open weight class, like just a free-for-all open weight class. You get the inverse amount of money depending on how light you come in at.
Yeah, and we probably would have said that if it was the light guy who won, maybe he could, we hadn't thought this through too much, but that's a good idea. So
depends whether you're being paid danger money, though, doesn't it? Really. I used to always love pulling in Champion of the Champions events, open classes, because when you were walking around at like 80 kilo, 85 kilos, you can't really lose. Right. And you can just go in there and you got literally nothing to lose. You just go firing into people. Doesn't matter. Right. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. If you don't, you were supposed to lose. If you do, you beat the big guy. Amazing.
You're a hero, right? Yeah.
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 I think it depends on the how much you understand from arm wrestling. I as a person, I look for quality more than how big the guy is. Most of the times the bigger guys is less the quality, and that is why I didn't cut you. Just wait, be patient. From 143 to 90 kilo are the categories that I close to follow, and above 90 kilo, I just select people. Oh, okay, this guy is big, but has some quality. This guy is okay, But from 143 to 200 pounds is just like you can just watch the WAP and like top 10, all high quality guys, all of them.
You know what I like best about that little statement
deeper.
there? Yeah, it was good for a number of reasons. The first reason that was really good about that, Engin, was the fact that you tucked in what Devon had said beautifully in terms of saying, you know, I usually find that the higher the weight, the lower the quality. What about that comment?
It depends, you know. I'm just saying, talking about like generally, not everyone. I'm not talking about everyone, but you know, I see, you know, I see that, you know, like if I watch like 75 kilo category, 80 kilo category, that speed and that transition quality, you know, like much above the heavyweight.
But
is it because the competition is deeper?
Like it's like a go-kart race. They're really good drivers. Yeah.
What's that, John?
I said it's because of the it's just a deeper field. I mean,
yeah, I think so.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is, isn't it?
Racers.
Yeah. What's that?
I said it's a deeper field of go-kart racers.
Yeah.
It's not like A1.
F1.
Yeah. F1.
You know?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
I knew what you were. I knew what you meant when you first said go-kart. I knew where you were going. But I'm gonna say I've pulled the middleweight, so I'm always gonna say this. But I genuinely believe that the anywhere from sort of the 70 kilo to the 90 kilo was the hardest weight classes, just purely and simply because those classes have most guys in them.
Hold on a second.
Men out there, most men.
Hold on.
You can make an argument up to 100.
Whoa.
I agree with you, Neil.
Okay, the hardest weight category to win is the open weight division. Everybody knows that.
When you say the hardest, it is hard for the 75 kilo guy because twice, but it is twice for him, you know, the category, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the like quality, its own weight category. I'm talking about.
Yes, quality is
like no disrespect, you know, the Levan Saginashvili, I mean, he's a powerful guy. He's just like outside of earth, you understand? But when you compare his quality with the guys from, as you said, you know, from 70 kilo to 90 kilo, trust me, his quality is as good as like someone that can be from 5th to 10th, but not the top 5 guys, you know. But John is an exception. Like John is an exception. Devon is an exception. A few guys in the supers, they are exception that they can pull in all kind of styles and, you know, of course, you know, yeah.
Yeah, let's be honest here as well. Sorry, go on.
Levon's quality would be increased if there were 20 Levons out there. I mean, if he was having to compete against guys that were his own size, and you know there was a bunch of them running around, then obviously his quality is going to be better.
Exactly what I was just gonna say. I actually feel sorry for the big guys in respect because there's nothing they can do about that. It's purely and simply that there aren't that many of them about. Just not that many. How many physical giants are out there? You can't help it if you were born a giant.
Yeah. I mean, we are not blaming anyone, just technical analyzing. You understand?
Yeah.
Like whenever I think of Alan Karev and the other guy, the Georgian guy. Remember the other guy?
Vaktan.
Yeah, Vaktan. Yeah.
Oh, Shavakadze.
Yeah, when you look at the Richard Lapkis, you know, these are the like in their times best guys, but none of them are known with the like very high level of technical ability and this and that. But maybe, I mean, they were the best of their times, you know.
Well, you know what the interesting thing is, Engin? I think we can all, you know, I would have said, look, you can talk about arm wrestling. What is the best arm wrestler and who's the best results are most difficult to beat.
Yes, it's two different things.
Two different things entirely.
Yeah.
When I was at my peak, when you were at your peak, certainly the best example probably in history when John was at his peak, you could go up through weight classes, and unless you came up against someone who was absolutely physically dissimilar to you to the point where you couldn't really use any technique at all, and I'm meaning people like Cleve, you know, were just too. You get to a level where they're too big for you to handle unless you've got the genetics to be able to do that, the mechanical levers to be able to do that. Now, outside of that, The technique did count, yeah. The speed did count. The explosivity did count. The ability to move at the arm wrestling table did count. It's not a block. You're not two guys. Some guys are too big at the table. They don't have the mobility. All those factors made a difference. You know, they all made an enormous difference. I'd love to see a physical giant once in my life, and I'm talking a real giant, you know, who was a brilliant technician. And I'm not sure there's ever been one. You get the guys, you know, Devon's size. Devon's not a small man. He's 6'6", and he's a brilliant technician. He can really pull. But I'd love to see someone like Levon, someone like Chafee, someone real giants, where they got to that level of razor technique. You know.
You know, I hear people say that a lot about the big category. I hear people say, "Oh, they're so strong and their technique is not good," and I think that this is a bias because I remember people used to always say that about Dennis, and I mean,
you find him technical?
Yeah, that he wasn't technical.
But do you find him technical?
Yes, I do.
I think he's technical, but he's not at the level of the lightweight guy.
I really do. Look, he might not be as crisp as some of the lightweight guys who are. I'm not going to argue that typically the technical level is higher in the lighter weights, because in the super heavyweights, power is just such a bigger factor. Yeah. But when you say that there's little technique in a guy like Dennis, I think that people are missing the point. I remember when Dennis first started arm wrestling, there wasn't a lot of technique there. But then, you know, when you watch his later stuff, like, you know, when he and Andre used to arm wrestle, you know, like closer to the end, you know, you'd see him transition.
No, he improved. There's no doubt. But he improved from very bad to maybe a good one. But I am talking about like a Cobra, like John Brzenk, like Gashevsky. You don't find someone up there like that. Like that giant and that technical.
Relative. Everything's relative.
Define what makes a technical arm wrestler. Someone that recognizes his own ability and perfects his ability, or someone that's well-rounded and can do all the different techniques. I mean, if just to recognize who you are and what you can do it may be enough to be considered a very smart technical arm wrestler. I mean,
I think you're going back to what we're saying: effective versus technically diverse. You can have a boxer who gets in a ring and within a round, whoever he's fighting is unconscious.
Everything, but doesn't understand
are they
what makes
effective?
him good.
Not necessarily technically proficient, but he knocks his opponent out. And there's definitely been a lot of those in arm wrestling.
See, my favorite arm wrestler, and then my opinion about the best arm wrestler may be two different things.
Yeah.
Like for example, there are arm wrestlers that I really enjoy watching, but maybe some like Eastern Monster just crashes him, but it doesn't make him bad arm wrestler. You understand? But when you bring the result and the quality together, I think that makes you a legend.
Mm-hmm. Something that I look for is a guy who can arm wrestle open, middle, and closed, and move through all those ranges.
Yeah.
You watch Dennis. He arm wrestles open, he arm wrestles middle, and he can bring a shoulder forward. To me, he can. He can press, he can hook, and he can
level. To a level.
Yeah, but the quality of doing it. You know, you can do hook. I can show you 10 guys doing hook, and then one I would just watch and I say like, wow. And the other one is also doing, like, I have students who can also press. They are 15 years old, who can do open, who can do close, but it doesn't mean that, you know, they are doing this in high level of quality.
Right, instinctively, right.
Hey, let's be honest here. It's not like every lightweight and middleweight and light heavyweight can arm wrestle the balls off either.
Yeah. But the majority is there. Majority is there.
Yeah, there are more examples.
The quality quality in the super heavyweights is the minority. When you go down, the majority.
From the lightweights. Lightweights are trying to hold on to that. Yeah, but we got great technique. Look at round one, Levon versus Vitaly, because that's really the only round that really mattered. And Levon, in my opinion, did the perfect technical counter. He posted hard. He did a bent back wrist post. Let the hands.
That's just how he arm wrestles, you know. He just did the way he arm wrestles.
I don't think that's true. I think we've seen him arm
That is true. I have been watching him at WAF Europeans for 10 years, you know. He's just boom, 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 boom. This is what he does, you know.
Normally he holds on a bit more. I think normally, and I think that this time with Vitaly, he let it go.
Yes, but this is the position he was put to. But you know, his where Vitaly made a mistake that he thought that, you know, by enabling Levan's hand he could win, but his own hand wasn't enough to control Levan's arm, so they were in almost equal position. With the more horsepower, he beat him. You know, that's what it is.
He certainly didn't make a technical error. He certainly did not do that.
No. But that is not what he was wishing, you know, to arm wrestle. You know, he wanted to do this, but he just put in this position. He was just much stronger.
How good does he need to get? Let's be honest, because his strength advantage is so much greater than everybody. How good does he need to get technically?
Well, I'm curious to see how strong he is arm when he gets put wrist to wrist. I mean, there's very few people that are going to have the hand strength to do it. I thought Vitaly might try to do that, but he didn't. He never tried to, you know, control a hook, grab him low on the wrist and put him wrist to wrist. But I saw how he pulled with Prudnik. Prudnik just went right through him. So, I mean, that's why I thought Prudnik was really the best and only chance to maybe try to, you know, pull off a win against Levan by just grabbing
I
low
agree
on the
with
wrist
that.
and forcing the arm.
Not many. I'm glad you said that, John, because I really think that horses for courses. I really think styles make matches. And I remember we had this conversation again when we did the podcast.
No, but you were saying Levan could beat him, not the.
But I think Prudnik.
And I told you that he couldn't.
It's a better match for Levan. Better chance.
So
but not enough horsepower, I think.
I'd like to see it.
I would like to see it too.
I'd like to see it.
I'm not putting Levan on that untouchable level of just great inside strength. I mean, I haven't seen it yet.
The problem is to get him inside.
Yeah, no, I know it's tough to get people inside. I mean, I pulled Cleve Dean when I was, try grabbing on Cleve hand to hand. I mean, it was impossible. It's going to require some unorthodox approach, but I think it's still.
What do you think about Gary Goodrich's quality?
You say that again?
Gary Goodrich.
He was pretty bloody good, dang it.
Yeah, I believe so too. Yeah, and he could pull in different ways. Hook.
Gary was anywhere.
Side pressure. Yeah.
Anyway, and he was fast.
Do you remember his final match with what was the guys from England? Bob Brown, or what was it? Bob.
To be fair, I'm going to say, and I mean this with the greatest of respect to Robert. I mean this genuinely. Around that time, I could beat Robert Brown. So
yeah, but he was doing like some weird things, you know, like
I couldn't have beat Goodrich with two arms. I mean, I wrestled Gary a lot when he came over, and Jesus.
Yeah. Well, Gary didn't have the super strong big hand. Well, he had a strong hand, but his hand was small.
Small hands.
So it was really difficult to. But he evolved and figured out how to, you know, do the high top roll, fingers high, protect his hand by just keeping his knuckles high and using his arm strength. So, I mean,
Robert Brown got to a good. Robert got better and better. But to be fair to Rob, he was never overly. He was the classic example of what I was saying. He was so potentially exceptional that people would fear him and not give him that technical input. Had they done so, he could have been really serious.
John is right about, you know, beating Levan in hook, but not anyone can do it. Remember in 2016, Krasimir did in a fresh match. The first round they pull, and he hooked him and beat him.
I think Gennadi's done it too.
Yeah, but it is not the same Levan. Now it's just like, to me, looks so scary, you know.
Yeah.
He looks. Have you ever seen him close, John?
I actually was unimpressed. I thought he would be bigger and more massive than I envisioned by watching him on the internet. I met him in China and I shook his hand and I thought, you know, I've been around bigger guys. I don't know, you know, it's just funny, I guess. I don't know. I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't see the big, but I didn't step up on the table with him and he didn't tighten up, so it's hard to say.
He's nice. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, no, he seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice guy, yeah.
Really good bloke.
Very good guy.
I touched his hand, and I certainly got the feeling that I was very impressed. I was like, yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, that's a strong dude.
Yeah, no, but I mean, just going like an arm wrestling grip is like, it kind of felt normal. I mean, some people like Lupkus, you grab it, it's like, grabbing onto a chair or a pole, or, Cleve was just so massive that you felt like you were completely just enveloped, lost. But so I don't know. I guess I just have different.
Cleve was stupid, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was stupid.
Cleve Dean's the only human being I've ever arm wrestled where I have genuinely thought, this is ridiculous.
It doesn't matter what kind of strength I have.
I couldn't even
utilize
rip the mother. I mean, he ended up moving his arm back. I mean, he was the loveliest guy. He was moving his arm. I couldn't even. It was like, what the? The ref was Rick Pinkney was laughing.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's just ridiculous. He was a freak, absolute monster.
So Neil, are we like talking about what exactly now? Like, or just like free?
I don't even know how we got here, Engin, right? Last I knew, I was talking to you about enhancing your suntan, and suddenly it's whether or not there's any good arm.
I thought we were talking about back and then. I mean,
little guys, big guys. We got on the subject, little guys, big guys. Who's more quality?
Who deserves a bigger prize?
I think we've determined that it's similar to the UFC. I enjoy the lightweights much more on the UFC than I do the heavyweights. They're much quicker,
the heavyweights are always going to get the money, aren't they?
Yeah.
No.
But I heard that. What's the guy from Dagestan? I think he with the Irish guy.
Nurmagomedov?
Yeah, I think they got the most money last year.
Yeah,
they are 70 kilo.
McGregor's probably demanding the most right now, and he's the most exciting to watch. I mean, he just
most exciting for me.
That's where it goes.
Especially when he gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, because of the mouth, right? Everybody wants to see him get his ass kicked, get him, his mouth shut up. But he knows what he's doing. That's for sure.
But imagine if he was an open weight guy.
He can't be.
Right. But if he was, he'd probably be getting twice as much money.
He can't, because you can only find those guys there, not there.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
It's a bell curve, right? Most people here. Who's
the best boxer ever? Probably one of them.
Mike Tyson.
Get the out of here! Don't talk out of your ass.
Mike Tyson, easy answer.
Oh man, don't even.
I loved him, but I also hated him because we were with the time difference till 4 a.m. in the morning. We were waiting, and then 30 seconds later he was knocked out. So go back to sleep. We were just like.
Mate, he was exciting though, wasn't he? Mike was exciting.
Okay, let's start the comparing the past with today.
Yes, here we go.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna make a claim here. Okay, I think there's very few people in the world who are as equipped to make this comparison with yourself and John Engin, and the reason why is purely and simply longevity at that level.
You too. You have been around everywhere.
Mate, I'm going to be brutally honest.
Neil, you are talking about listen. You are introducing us to all the time this legend, that legend. But just trust me, your top row is one of my favorites from the whole time. Like not like your time only, but like Niyazi Kurt, the president of Turkish. Wolf. He also has incredible top row. There are some guys may not be considered like legend because they didn't stay at the top so long time, but there has been some really great. I see top row more an art than hook. I don't know why. Like when you just go to school, like hooking someone, it just like so naturally comes. I don't know. Like the kids just start and then they just go hook and they can pull. But I kind of see that top row is more of the art, like the hand. I don't know.
That's an interesting comment. I actually believe that there's massive beauty in the hook. I think somebody who can really hook well.
That's good. It can be even a chess game.
I mean, I said it. I said it on a show the other day. You remember Gennady Fadzhinov?
Yeah. But I don't enjoy him as much as I enjoy Cobra taking the guy and just, controlling like this, or John. I mean, I kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's me, only me. I cannot say that this is how it is.
It's the incremental gains that I enjoy in the hook. I like to see a guy who can maintain, who can choke the life out of someone. If you get a really finesse top roller, and yet the guy can just incremental gains, it gains half an inch at a time, then don't frigging breathe, and then little tight. I love that.
Yeah.
I used to spend most of my time actually training the hook. I was stronger in the hook than top roll, but it's just a terrible technique to use in tournament because you were never strong enough. You know what I mean? A guy who beat you, if I always felt like if I can top roll you, I'm strong enough to finish it quick. So it's done, number in.
Right.
That was the only reason.
You had to look at the big picture. You couldn't just look at each individual match.
Exactly that, mate. But
Fazino is one of the guys that I have never seen being top rolled.
No, ever.
Even Taras beat him. He was with a flat wrist like this. He beat Taras once.
He beat Taras in the overall at the Worlds.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember that. Oh, in Italy, 2001,
yes, beat him in the Open.
You sure that he beat him?
Yes. Yeah. I remember thinking, and I actually went with Gennady on the practice table afterwards. He's a really nice guy. He came over and he's like, Neil, let's go. And we had a very, very long match. And what you were talking about earlier, or what I was talking about a moment ago in terms of that incremental gains thing, he was so good at that. But you couldn't find a position where he would allow you to take the wrist. He sort of dropped under you and down, and you ended up pulling against the palm of his hand. It was really great. He impressed.
He never gets pumped. The guy Gennady.
No, he's
Do you remember his final with Semerenko, like minutes long, and then Taras. Yeah. The Semerenko was almost fainted. On the they were carrying him. And the guy was doing. And then he was putting his elbow again on the pad, never pumped, And his arm probably was 37 centimeters, maybe.
What about John and Farid?
Yeah, it was incredible.
That was, I loved watching that.
Yeah.
Because it
was a chess game. Yeah.
The timing thing, I loved.
Yeah.
I do enjoy. I'm going to be honest. It's very visceral. The hook,
The greatest thing about that match is it totally didn't even have to be like that. And you wanted that hook because it was a cooler win, Yeah, that's what made that match so special because we didn't even have to ever see that match.
Why?
I remember you asking how much between first and second. Game over. It's like how much between first and second.
Yeah.
What's this?
Some things are more important than just winning. I mean, I think that match was for like $100 between the losing and winning. So I was like,
$200. He came over and he's like, Neil, how much between is it prize money difference between first and second? I'll say it's like $150.
Yeah, but listen, I think
he's like inside.
I think you guys meant that. I think you guys meant that John won the first match easily with top roll. And you guys are thinking that he would win again. No. It's not that simple. No. Because first match, both tried to go outside, and John beat him. Second match, yes, John went in, but then Farid was gonna go hook anyways. So we don't know if John would be able to top roll him when Farid wanted to go hook.
Okay, fair enough, but it's definitely
top rolling someone while he's top rolling someone while he's trying to hook, and if the guy is one of the best hook pullers ever, you can never be sure about that. You may be right, but you may be wrong.
Yeah, correct. That's fair enough. But I tell you what, though, either way, it was a cool ass moment.
Yes, one of the best, best ever. Yeah.
Not all victories are even. That's the thing, right?
I very seldom finish with that kind of a shoulder press when I'm that exhausted and completely fatigued out that I have to press with the weak bench press move.
That's when you were getting ready for Vovoda. You were hoping Alexi was going to show up.
Yeah. That's a while ago.
I'm going to tell a short story, and I will steer the pot here. But should I?
Okay. Yeah, I, you know what? I think it's great that you tell that short story, Engin. But in the next episode, mother fluffers, if you like what we do, woohoo, the people are going to hate on my ass for that. We will be back. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode. Until that time, take it easy, peeps.